It's a pleasure to reintroduce to you Robert Schein, who's going to be discussing his 7 keys to financial wellness. Please welcome Mr. Robert Schein.
Thank you, Bronwyn. How's everyone doing this morning? How is the last panel? I thought it was beyond a home run. Truly amazing, inspiring, strong, intelligent women, each with their own unique story. Again, inspiration for all of us. And today I'm going to share with you basically my 20 years experience plus of being in the financial services industry. Today I have a lot of clients in the audience and they've brought some friends. And so they know that I walk through and help them with their financial lives. And as I said earlier today, everyone's going through something financially speaking. It's just important to reach out and build that network within. And then I'm going to go through some of the keys that I've found that you can implement in your particular personal life, and we can go from there. So let's see if my presentation will load. In the meantime, while we do that, since I have a minute, I am going to take a selfie. Always wanted to do that. So, 7 keys to financial wellness. The purpose of the selfie, one was it's going to be good for later. I want everyone to connect with CW3 Confidence Summit on all social handles. The purpose of that is after this, we're going to continue to drip on you in your financial life. We'll give you content and share some thoughts of the days and the weeks ahead so you can stay connected long after. But also, especially in the world of finance or the headlines that we're in on a daily basis, it's so hard to truly see through all the financial nonsense, right? Wall Street's telling us one thing, the news is telling us another thing. And it's really important to do your own homework or have people that you trust in your corner and you're expert in your corner. That's what we do for our clients. As an example, the reason why I took a selfie just now is most people don't know that more people died from selfies last year than from shark attacks. 6 people died because they were killed of a shark attack in the United States last year, and over 70 people died from selfies. Is that a headline, right? So at least I was careful when I did that, so it would be pretty embarrassing. Let's see if I can get my slides back up. So today we're going to talk about 7 keys to financial wellness. And as he transitions over, I like to draw back from my mom personally, who is the first person in my personal experience of inspiration for the Society of the Few, financially empowered women. And I love that she's the first person, but there's also people that are out there in this world, like Edith Kuchmeyer. She just passed away last year. But what's important to know about Edith is she represents a lot of things we can draw inspiration from. She passed away at 107 years old. She was the oldest in California to get her driver's license renewed at 105. She also was the oldest to register on Facebook. In fact, Facebook had to change their registration to accommodate her date of birth. The young generation at Facebook didn't think it would be necessary to have a 100-plus-year-old register for Facebook. She registered for Facebook because she basically said the key to her long life was going to her charity every day, and for 41 years, she would donate her time raising attention for her charity and donating time for her charity. So she decided at the charity, let's open up a Facebook page because you're the oldest, person here, and let's get some attention. She has more Facebook even followers. I think it's about 100,000 right now. But it's a true inspiration. One, because she volunteers every day. Age didn't mean anything to her. She re-examined or took her driver's test again at 105. Didn't care that she had to do that. She was a strong woman. She's like, I could do this. She also, at the end of the day, wanted to inspire other people. So that attitude, and everyone in this room, I don't know, everyone's young in this room, especially from what we see in the financial world. You don't really know it. You might not feel it. But I will tell you, wherever you are, whatever your age, If you're young, start early in saving, and I'll show you why. And if you're older, you're not as old as you think, and you better continue to save and be very careful with your money because you will be living a long life. So who's Robert? What do you think, Mom? So I just want a little story about Robert. This is my mom dressing me up when I was a kid, my Sunday's best. And again, anyone who knows me, I have an older brother, Steven, and every single Halloween, including now, I dress up as Superman. I love baseball, and that's my dad and my oldest daughter at the time at a baseball game in Arizona. And then that's Jack, and he's about 11 now, but that's my father and my son years ago. What's my why? Everyone in this room has their why. My why are my girls, my family. That's why I'm passionate about financially empowering women. My mom is a very strong woman. I had that as a role model growing up. You know, I'm a gentleman, I opened the door for a lady. That doesn't change who I am, doesn't mean that I can't open the door for you, but she raised me right. We will be doing the same with our daughters, but also we will be doing the same as it relates to teaching them to prepare for the future, financially speaking. Here, you know, us had the opportunity to travel around the world. We love travel. We have dogs. We got a couple extra dogs. My wife's crazy, and she's a strong woman. And she puts up with me. But she's brilliant, strong, smart, and I'm blessed to have her as my wife to deal with all our crazy. There's a lot of crazy in our world. So that's a little bit about us. And I'm creating something out there called Financial Advice for my teenage daughters and son too. And as you know, time flies, right? 2008, we talked about that earlier. We were on the Disney cruise, and those three girls were just here. We just did Disneyland a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing if you put those two pictures side by side. Life does go quick. So right now is the time, right? Have that kitchen table conversation about what you learned today. Let's continue the conversation after today. Maybe you have everything all set, but continue to have that with your network in your life. Longevity, we talked about this earlier. National Geographic just published this. Babies today will live to 120. But why should women learn about investing? Well, the percentages are there. 50% of marriages end in divorce, unfortunately. 9 out of 10 women will be solely responsible for their own financial life at some point in time in the future. And the average age of widowhood actually is 56 years old. So what's the bridge between wealth and wellness? Well, if you think about it, here's the negative effects of financial stress. So we have everything from sleep deprivation, overeating, substance abuse, accidents, smoking, health problems, anxiety, depression, relationship issues. And 77% of your basically net worth after you got a divorce is gone. That's a big deal. You have to start over. One of the things I'm going to talk about, but it's very important for a woman's financial independence, is their credit score. No one talks about that. Establish your own credit, have your own credit, nurture your own credit, learn what it is, get it done, because if you're ever independent, you can't rely on your husband's credit because you have your own now and you have to start over. So that's a number one key to financial independence for women. Manage, maintain, establish, work at your credit. You could actually increase your credit score in a year by 200 points if you actually just did a couple of easy tips. For somebody who doesn't have a good credit, between good and bad credit, I'm sort of jumping ahead, but it's an important point right now. It's an average between good and bad credit. It's an average of extra $250,000 of cost over the course of your lifetime. So when you're trying to, let's say, dig out of, and you have too much debt, and then you're going to apply for a loan or an auto or whatever as it relates to your financial life, it's the same car, you negotiated the same price, and then you have to then pay more. It just doesn't make sense. So make certain that you look at your credit. So there's a strong sense of disconnect in Wall Street. It's been like that for years. 9 out of 10 women feel sold to versus educated by financial services companies. And that's true. If you look at Wall Street today, that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, 10% believe that Wall Street pays equal attention to women. If you were to watch CNBC today or any of the news wires, The commercials, right? The commercials are really like who the audience is, where they're talking to men about trade your own account, zero commission trades. That is the worst idea ever. It really is. I mean, they're marketing to men, and they don't care about women and saying, oh, by the way, they're starting to. They're starting to come around. But the reality is that there's a serious disconnect. That's one of the reasons why I started the Society of the Few, Financially Empowered Women. And inside each one of your bags, I have something for you to take with you, which is a step-by-step guide that will help you gauge where you are in your life, organize and simplify your financial life. So that's my gift to you in your bag. Later on, you can look at that. But I made it pink just because it's pink and attracts women? No, because I'm a minority in a sorority and pink's all around me? No, because I want to be able to market to women at the end of the day, because everything else is marketing to men as it relates to financial services. I want that connection, because once I get the connection and I make it pink and I put it down and it's going to go in your office or it's going to go somewhere in the kitchen, you're not going to throw it away, and you can find it very easily. So there's very strong intent of why we're reaching out to you so that you have access to that education, because it's very important. Wall Street doesn't get it, and they will someday. 71% believe that Wall Street is not in touch with a women's financial concerns. We just addressed that. So this was interesting. I don't know if you know this story, but the Raging Bull, or the Charging Bull, is a very famous statue in New York outside of Wall Street. And most recently, in the last few years, they just put out the Fearless Girl. So they commissioned this statue, the Fearless Girl, and they put it adjacent to, very defiant, very strong, in the face of Wall Street. Well, the mayor had to relocate the statue, the Fearless Girl, because it caused such a big traffic jam in Manhattan, right across Wall Street, that so many tourists were taking a picture of this. But it was great because it was so symbolic. It caused such a stir. It really is basically a testament to this moment in time of like, yes, take control. You guys can do this better. My mom's a better investor than my dad ever was. Ever. Smart too. My dad's smart too. So women's power is growing. Congress has the highest percentage of women. Yesterday we just had the first spacewalk, actually second spacewalk all-female crew. There's more athletes in the Olympics, 2 times starting businesses than men. 57% of degrees are earned by women, and increased leadership roles. So that's fantastic. That just means that more and more are becoming educated, and they're going out into this world, and then what's happening? Well, the wealth is there. Women are they're holding the majority of the wealth, as we discussed earlier. They're set to inherit 70% set to inherit $1 trillion of intergenerational wealth over the next decade. That's a lot of money. Are you prepared? Breadwinners are co-breadwinners of their homes, and they're solely responsible for their finances, and they're projected to own, actually it's this year, $72 trillion. Wall Street Journal just had this last week, or excuse me, in December, and the article basically said 87% of women lack the basic financial management, and that's really holding them back in their career. And then T. Rowe Price in 2017 stated that 69% of parents admit that they're reluctant to talk about finances on the kitchen table. Maybe because they're embarrassed, maybe because they're ashamed, or maybe because they don't know how. Maybe because they don't know what they don't know. And that's the challenge in America, because I will tell you, if it's not being discussed at home, it's not being discussed in schools. These numbers right now are staggering. 60% of Americans spend without a budget. 95% of high school seniors are financially illiterate. 95, that's 1 in 6. 95% of our kids are financial. So then you go to college. 75% of graduates are financially illiterate, by definition. So it's unbelievable. The system itself, if they're talking about everything else, they should be focused on educating us financially speaking. At home, we don't know how to talk about it. In the schools, they don't know how to teach it. That's a big problem. And then there's no reason, there's no question why there's financial stress everywhere, if you think about it. 41% of baby boomers retire with no savings at all. Generation X and have the most credit card debt and 59% of millennials graduate, they have no idea when their student loans will be paid off. Think those are politically hot topics for votes? What do women want? Financial security. Be confident about investing. Debt-free. Balance. Invest to fulfill goals and learn about investing. Now, I assure you, today is not going to be a seminar about how to invest. Maybe in the future we'll create a one-day, two-day, because that's a topic where I'm very passionate about. People should learn the power of finance. I was just blessed with the opportunity to have a finance and marketing degree, but not everyone is. So what are the 5 barriers that are holding you back personally? It was actually up here earlier today. It's also your relationship with money. Okay? Everyone has their own relationship with money. Everyone has their own personal experience, and it starts at the kitchen table. Your parents have gone through something. You've gone through something. It could have been good. It could have been bad. But that shaped the rest of your life. Unfortunately, it could have made you extremely conservative. It could have been an experience that you had that, you know what, oh, I touched the stove and it's hot, financially speaking. I can't invest in that. And that's okay. We see that all the time. But understand what your relationship with money is. Why you have that preconceived notion about investing. It may be good, it may be bad. But going forward, from this point forward, does it have to be that way? It really shouldn't, because that's you holding you back. Take the next step. Lack of confidence. So this is a big one, right? So if you were to look at, we've had the privilege of having a lot of kindergarten artwork come back in our household. And all 3 daughters are coloring within the lines, right? We get it put on the refrigerator. My son, he doesn't even know where the lines are. And you put them side by side. Women are perfectionists, right? You're a perfectionist in everything you do. That's how you're raised, that's how you think, that's how society sees you. And you translate that into your investing life. The answer is no, don't be that way. Don't think that way. It's okay. When you go in the world of investing, it does seem foreign and unknown. But if you find somebody who can help you, or you do some little research, you can become really savvy really quickly. So it starts with you. So don't think you have to be a perfectionist, or you had a bad experience or loss aversion. Focus and energy, and I'll touch that. Wherever you focus things and put your energy towards, you can change in a heartbeat. And then know where or how to start. People say, I don't know where to start, or I don't know how to start, or bottom line is just start. Ask a friend, network, get out there, take charge, literally be your own person that wants to take 2020 and take control of your financial life. And just start one day at a time. It's actually easier than you think. And this is something I'm going to talk about a lot. You like this, is plan to fail without a plan. So, this little quote here. When thinking about life, remember this: no amount of guilt can change the past. No amount of anxiety can change the future. Let it go. We've all had a financial past, but that does not mean that's our financial future. So now I've developed the 7 keys to financial wellness. Again, from my experience of sitting across the table and managing and listening and just helping clients through their day-to-day lives. 7 keys are the mindset, education, which is open to growth, negotiation. We talked about negotiation. I'll expand about that, or networking. We're going to talk about negotiation in a minute. Have a plan. Family. There's a lot of dynamics in families. Families are complex. You add money, somebody asking for, needing for, 3 kids, one gets more than the other. Awesome. That's fun, right? So we'll hopefully give you some tips to maybe make it easier and have those conversations, and some advice that we've learned. And then network of advice and self-care. Number 1 key, mindset. It's a way of thinking. It's an incident of a person's worldview or philosophy on life. This is a very important quote. Watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, because I didn't memorize it. For they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. It's true. Thoughts are things. So there is a really important book out there from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Over 110 million copies sold. It's one of the best books you ever. It's about Andrew Carnegie and the Carnegie Foundation in the turn of the century. But really, the take-home point is, I'll save you, it's thoughts are things. And we've seen that so many times. It's your mindset. Both poverty and riches are offsprings of beliefs. Change your negative money beliefs. Trust me, that's a big one. And then change what you think, change how you think. So education. Be open to growth and a lifelong learner, and being responsible for the growth in your life. So this is real quick. I'll tell a story on this one. This is my son Jack. We were cleaning out the garage, and he found my bucket of cassette tapes. And cassette tapes and Blockbuster Video, that's something I'll tell you girls about later because I'm short on time. But I'm dyslexic, so I have a processing disorder. My oldest daughter has it as well, diagnosed and going through it. So I couldn't read very quickly, right? So it takes me twice as long. So my mom drove me down to get cassette audio tapes about self-improvement and everything else. And literally I went from not being able to learn a lot to learning super quickly. I'm an auditory learner. Everyone can find a way they can learn. My mom helped me to adapt. And that's my treasure trove, from Warren Buffett to Peter Lynch about investing. My take-home point here is that you'll be shocked. You say you don't have time right now in your life. Okay, if you look at, Apple has this wonderful thing about screen time. Okay, we'll talk about it. If you can look at your screen time at a break, how many hours a week you look at your phone, how many hours a day you pick up your phone, and then go to social media, okay? What I'm going to submit for consideration is start finding or following financial services. Follow the few, follow us, and then start reading. Adding it to your news feed by day is gonna add to your financial knowledge. You do have time, you just don't know how to do it. So socially speaking, social media, go to Dave Ramsey. Go to all these other financial services firms and start reaching out. Therefore, because it's an automatic habit, make it automatic. You do have time. Negotiating. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but let's never negotiate out of fear. That's the number one thing. Guys negotiate. Guys are born negotiators. Honestly, women are better negotiators, right? We all know that. But don't negotiate out of fear. That's where confidence comes from, literally doing your homework. And with the internet today, we can do all of our homework and research, and we can have that. But don't ever negotiate out of fear. Why this is a big point right now is because we literally make 8 to 10 money decisions every single day, from negotiating our time when we wake up from bed and how we're going to plan our day, to friends, family, auto, credit cards, mortgages, homes, careers. Don't outsource that stuff, right? You're literally going to go get your first job out of college. And if you don't negotiate your first job, that sets your pay scale, your opportunity, your earnings potential for the rest of your life. Oh, I wasn't taught that. That's not my area of expertise. Take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 weeks before you go get your job. Practice. Because an extra $10,000, $20,000, the next employer is going to use your most recent highest. That's a lot of money over the next. And they didn't teach that. They don't teach that to us in school. Trust me, when my girls go for job negotiations, we're going to be ready. So start at home, because it's very important, very impactful. These are big things. Plan. It takes more energy to wish as it does to plan, right? So it takes more energy to wish than it does to plan. So this is a good story, and we're going to go long on time, but this is going to be okay. Lessons from the Yale graduating class of 1953. So I have Success Magazine. I have a copy of this article that I saved in 1991 from Success Magazine by Ken Thorbach. He wrote this. They basically did a study of the 1953 graduating class of Yale, and he asked them 20 questions, but 3 were related to goals. 1, do you have goals? 2, do you have them written down? And number 3, do you have an action plan for those goals? 20 years later, in 1973, they follow up with the surviving class of Yale. And they asked them to follow up, and they did all the questions, and they found out that those that actually answered yes to those 3 questions were happier in their personal lives, better marriages, better children, worth more, but they actually had 97% of the wealth. That 3%, there's only 3% that actually answered yes to all those three questions. They had 97% of the wealth of the rest of the graduating class of 1953 Yale. So write question, have goals, write them down, and then have an action plan. We do that for our clients in financial services world all day long. I will not invest a client's money without a financial plan. A financial plan will dictate how much risk you need or how much risk you don't have to take. It also talks about what pocket we take it out of and when. Oh, I want to go on this vacation, or I want to pay off this debt, or I want to help my grandkids out, or I want to fund this house, or I want to build that. We financially model all day long what-if scenarios because it's very important to have a plan. And then the investing part, once you have that plan, the investing part is truly simple. It really is from our side of the table. Have a plan. Power of written goals. So 83% of people had no goals, right? If you have 14% have goals and have them written down, or if you have them written down, you're 30 times more successful. These are wonderful little Dave Ramsey's. It's an example for social media. So go follow Dave Ramsey. It'll be a daily drip of finance. It's awesome. He's got some good stuff there for you. So who wants to be an automatic millionaire? So again, this is another example of the power of social media. Follow these 2 steps to make $1 million. Girls, are you listening? We're going to have this conversation. And when you come to Mom and Dad SNL, it's called Mom and Dad Savings and Loan. I'm going to say, no, you were in my class and we had this conversation. So investing $250 a month in the S&P 500 index, wait 40 years. This has worked every time, every year for the last 100 years. The average value is $1.9 million. There's a lot of power behind that in terms of the power of finance too. It's the power of compounding. It's not literally watching and micromanaging your investments. It's dollar cost averaging. I mean, this is the epitome of finance all in one. And it's also discipline, right? So reverse budgeting, pay yourself first. What does reverse budgeting mean? That means that most people budget what comes in and what goes out, pays all their bills, and what's left over is like, gosh, is it fun? I want to do fun, I want to go shopping, I want to have fun with, or do I invest? Well, no one's going to invest. No one. No one. Set up an account to take it out of your paycheck. You should pay yourself first. That's it. That's the first bill you should pay. Take it out. Set up an account. Could be a retirement account, could be a savings account, could be an emergency account. Whatever it is, make it automatic. Automatic, you don't see it. It's gone. You then reverse budget what's left over. And if you have something left over, well, that's your fun money. It's kind of easy. But be disciplined. Pay yourself first. Automate. And there's a lot of financial services out there that will help you do it. You can basically do that on a phone. Family. Okay, here, we'll talk about this too. Family values. If you don't have a family value structure or talk about family values, it's very important because when money's transferred intergenerationally speaking, and we see this all the time, there's a lot of issue and angst, right? Mom and dad have their values and the kids have their values, which is fine if it's completely different. That's okay. But you have to have a value system for your family, and it's important to communicate those values because then when money is transferred, well, mom and dad really like this and this is, but whatever it is, have values, right? Because then it becomes prioritization becomes easy on your kitchen table. And share that with your family. Have that kitchen table conversation. Split the bill. Oh, here's another one. Let's say going to restaurants, right? You're going to restaurants with your friends, and you know it's a restaurant you can't afford. Okay? Be preemptively. Hi, I know you really wanted to go to that restaurant, but can we go to this other restaurant, right? The price point might be different. Take a little effort. Therefore, you don't have to be awkward and be like, I can't afford it. Who's going to split the bill? Or, hey, we're going to go there. We're going to split the bill, right? Great. It really takes away sort of the stress or the level of like, have you seen alligator arms for the bill? or the, let me get that. If I touch it, then I got it. No, okay, good. Right? Be preemptive. Or the best one is, and I got this from one of my favorite comedians, Sebastian Maniscalco. If you have to then pay the bill, right, and you have a whole group of friends, and you get a whole bunch of money, you're looking at the bill, you're looking at your friends, you're looking at the bill, And you're like, and one guy's like, oh, can I give you an extra $2? $2, we're $600 short. What is your $2 gonna do for me? Like, people don't know that like the $10 meal plus tax plus tip, well, that's now $15. I don't know how to tell you, but the person that's actually taking the money is now harboring resent, right? So we've all been in that situation. But these are like things that we need to know. And family, I made this family definition. This might not be on what you see, but people who support and love you, the people that confide in trust. So those are the people in our lives, not just family that are birth. Those are what Valerie was talking about, your network, right? That's what your family is as you go along. Have these conversations, practically speaking. Lending to friends and family. Oh, this is a doozy. Lend only money you can afford to lose. That's it. If you could afford to, don't ever expect it back because it's not coming back. It's not. Only lend money you could afford to lose. And if you're borrowing money, you better be on time and ahead of schedule, whatever the terms are, right? Show that you are a qualified, you're really respecting that relationship. You're really honoring the trust and the value and the friendship because you might need them again. And hopefully you don't because then you could be there for them. But going back to lending and friends and family, we see it all the time. And so clients come to me for these conversations. And it's never easy. Another good one is, it's not no, it's no for right now, right? I need you, and if someone's bold enough to ask you for a loan, then they should be bold enough to accept what your conditions are for that loan. Meaning, change your habits, right? They're now offering advice, and you don't want to be in that world. You don't want to be. But if they're bold enough to ask for the loan, then you're like, oh, I see them social media. And they are now spending my $20 or $30 that my friend, I just bailed them out, to pay the rent, and then you see her on social media partying on Saturday night, how would that make you feel? Right? So you'll come across that. Network of advice. Strong women don't have attitudes, they have standards, right? Here's another good one, network of advice. So I created the network of advice for a reason. You're an average, we say this to our children all the time, you're an average of the 5 people you hang out with, right? So if they're negative personalities, if they're bad influences, get them out. Get them out, not acceptable. Develop a network and partnerships that improves personal responsibility, motivation, confidence, positivity, mindfulness. You know those positive people in your life. Have more positive people around you. By doing this Confidence Summit, I'm telling you, like, this hasn't been work. This has been more and more energy that I've ever had in quite some time because of the power of the positive people that we have in this room. This is magnetic, this is special, and everyone came just willing to help. This is a huge network. This is amazing. So we're going to have fun next year with this. And then seek advisors. So my mom's personal story is she has my brother and I in the financial services industry, but my dad, what I didn't share with you at the time was, financially speaking, they were fine. But my dad went to the estate planning attorney and my mom went to the estate planning attorney and they thought they got everything done estate planning attorney-wise, and my dad got the book from the estate planning attorney and then put it on the shelf. Then he's sick, he's in the hospital, and pulls my brother and I in the room and says, yeah, I forgot to put everything in the trust. Like houses? Accounts? What are you talking about? So when somebody says they're all set, they're not. We're in this valley all day long, and I encounter people that are like, they introduce me like, oh, financially speaking, oh, that's okay, I got a guy, we're all set. Guess what? Your guy is wonderful, but he's probably golfing with you all day long, right, with your husband, and they're worried more about their golf score and the freaking change in the handicap that just happened for golfers than they are actually, are you really taken care of? And another one is, does everyone play well in the sandbox together? Meaning your CPA should be connected with your financial advisor, should be connected with your estate planning attorney. That's like a bare minimum. Why? Because when you're going through something or you want to start something like a business or something, or you want to do something, you don't need to become an attorney. You don't need to become a financial advisor. You definitely don't need to become a CPA. But what you want, because you're hiring those people, is to them to work for you. So you want them to be connected. Hey, by the way, my team, you should have a team. And you want them to talk. Oh yeah, I want this done. Can you call Rob? Can you call Valerie? Because they can talk it out. And that's as simple as it done. That's where high net worth people get things done. Do you think they know all the rules? No. But they hire the best that do, and they trust the fact that they're going to do the right thing for them. And then let me go back to this real quick. When you're hiring somebody, I'm a fiduciary, accredited investment fiduciary. I'm legally obligated as a financial advisor to do it in my client's best interest. So I take the oath, and I'm on par with a CPA and an estate planning attorney, or an attorney. And in our financial services industry, there's only like 5% of us that actually are accredited investment fiduciaries. Everyone else is selling. I have nothing to sell. I'm only as good as my advice that I'm providing and the care that I take care of you. Not only the day we start, but long into the future. So a fiduciary, when you're looking for an investment manager, is critical, especially going forward, because Wall Street's constantly selling, and that's not going to change. Finally, self-care. We're going to learn more about this. This is the topic that we brought to the forefront as an evolution of this whole experiment that we put on a dry erase board in my office today. And I'm learning about this, so I'm not going to aim to be the expert here. We have brought in the experts for you. But geez, this is fun. I'm going to win. One thing I did find through my research is take a wellness day every 90 days. 90 days, set it on the calendar, plan to plan, right? When you're a business owner, you have to work in the business and then on the business. Those are two separate things. In the business, taking care of customers, working on the business, planning for the next 90 days. Okay, corporations do that, right? We have quarterly reporting for corporations. Neuroscience, there's a reason of 4 seasons, right? God made us in a way where there are seasons in our life. You could see it in growth, you could see it everywhere. Our brains are actually wired that way. Every 90 days, take a day, self-care day, and work on your finances too. Half day on finances, half day, go to the spa, take care of whatever that happens to be. Work on you. But make a plan going forward every 90 days, check in with your finances. And honestly, everyone in this room, here's a money-saving tip too. We all have subscriptions through iPhone. Actually, my wife does this for me. She goes through my subscriptions. She's like, delete, cancel, right? That's like, I don't know, hundreds of dollars a year. If everyone got rid of some of those in your subscriptions right now, we're saving thousands of dollars. Also, your banks. Get rid of and consolidate. Get rid of some of your bank accounts. Banks don't die of enlarged hearts. In fact, next time you go to a big city, they got the biggest buildings, right? You walk in, you're like, oh, I'm in a big city. There's Wells Fargo. Okay? That's because they're preying on all of us, not closing that extra account. Sometimes they open up accounts we didn't even know we had. True. So anyway, those are my little things. I'm getting the hook here. I have one minute left. I appreciate your patience. I've been going back and forth on the slides. But those are my 7 keys to financial wellness. We will expand more about that throughout the day. I thought negotiation and I thought the network of advice and self-care are extremely important. That's why I wanted to bring up just wonderful experts, panelists, and just strong women. So I appreciate your time today, and thank you for being here.